top of the morning, and we want to welcome you to a very special St. Patrick's edition of the Horror Shop. I'm Big Kev.
And I'm Little Kev.
And we're here to review the Leprechaun series.
So we just got done watching, well, not the whole thing at one time, thank God. We just got done watching the whole franchise, if you will, of the Leprechaun, and boy, it was a...
Painful?
Yeah, I got some sleep during some of them.
Yeah, part 3 will definitely put you to sleep over and over again.
Yeah, part 3, I think I took 2 naps during that one, and then the fourth one, which was, well, we'll save that one for later.
Yeah.
Part 5, which would be Leprechaun Back in the Hood, which was absolutely terrible. Oh my God, I couldn't. My head hurt. Honestly, my head hurt after that.
I will actually go to the Simpsons comic book guy voice. Worst episode ever!
Oh my God. Well, there was another one afterwards, and we were not able to acquire Leprechaun Back to the Hood. Thank God.
Due to technical difficulties.
Yeah, I think that's a blessing in disguise right there. Because I don't know if I could. I think I want to keep that hour and a half in my life.
Yeah,
I'm gonna savor that one.
I'm pretty sure that if you rent Back to the Hood, you should get a gun with that just so you could shoot yourself afterwards.
It was, well, like I said, the first Back to the Hood one featured triple OG Ice-T, which was entertainment in itself. But I guess we'll get to that later. So, like we said, this is our holiday edition, and it's St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, 2013. And I don't know if too many people know exactly the origins of a leprechaun or the leprechaun or however you want to put it. But I did somewhat research on this. A leprechaun is a type of fairy in Irish folklore, usually taking the form of an old man clad in a red or green coat, which fits suit, who enjoys and partaking in mischief. Like other fairy creatures, leprechauns have been linked to the something demon or some shit in Irish mythology.
Good research there.
Yep. The leprechauns spend all their time busily, was that a word? Busily making shoes and store away all their coins in a hidden pot of gold at the end of the rainbow. If ever captured by a human, the leprechaun has the magical power to grant 3 wishes in exchange for their release. Now, that's the same as a genie, the lamp, except for it's a lamp and not gold.
Yeah.
Popular depictions show the leprechaun as being no taller than a small child with a beard and a hat, although they may originally have been perceived as the tallest of all mound dwellers. What's a mound dweller?
I have no idea. Perhaps those that dwell on mounds.
A hobbit?
Oh, God.
Did we dare go back?
No. No more hobbit.
So yeah, but he didn't. In the movies, he was played by Warwick Davis, who was actually played every single. Actually, he played in every single Hobbit movie, which kind of shocked me. They didn't change him up at all, which is actually a good thing.
Yeah.
Well, I guess it wasn't really a shocker.
He needs work.
But yeah, he also played a Hobbit in a movie.
Willow.
Yeah. He's not exactly very tall, though. So that's the only thing I can say that from the origin of a leprechaun that they had a discrepancy within the movie.
People normally perceive leprechauns as smaller.
Well, in the first movie, actually, Leprechaun 1, he actually had a shoe fetish in that movie. And that was only in that movie. Did you notice that?
Well, it did kind of continue on to the second one when...
The second one with what?
Wasn't there some shoe polishing in there?
I don't think so. No, I don't think there was any shoe polishing in the second one. I think the only time they brought up shoes, well, they were throwing shoes at the leprechaun to distract him to get away from, to run away from him in the first one. It was kind of funny because he had this little scene where he stuck his tongue out and yelled at him because they kept scuffing up all his shoes that he already shined. He was quite upset by that, which is pretty good.
There was a mention in part 3 when he goes to the pawn shop. He mentions the shoes of the pawn dealer.
Yeah, he did.
And
did he say they were a fine pair of shoes or something like that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
something to that.
But there's never any impact or any of the characters going up against the Leprechaun did not use the shoe fetish as a way to get away from him or a weakness. Only in the first one, which was, I thought, comical. Did you also notice that he rhymes in every single movie except one? He rhymes and he says little phrases and this and that. The first one he says at the beginning, "Try as they will, try as they might, who steals me gold won't live through the night." Do you know which movie he didn't rhyme in? It's the best one.
Oh, God. 3?
Yeah, Leprechaun 3. He did not rhyme in that movie at all.
Leprechaun 3, let the snoozing begin.
Yeah. All these movies seem to be also themed with greed. Would you agree?
Yes.
That little fucker's, he's pretty greedy.
Well, you've got a pot of gold, and then watching it, by today's standards even, with gold prices high and...
Yeah. I mean, everybody's enthralled by the almighty dollar.
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Money makes the world go round.
The other thing I thought was pretty interesting about this franchise, it was kind of like a Critters movie or some sort where it's actually meant to be funny. It's scary. This movie, that's one of the things I wanted to point out. I was going to point out later, but I'll do it now. These movies were actually meant to be meant for kids. There's like almost like a Disney. If Disney made a horror movie, this would have been a horror Disney franchise.
I don't know about that. It's a little too violent.
Well,
the makeup is a little too scary for children.
They didn't like where it was going. Well, the movie makers, they made Leprechaun, seeing where it was going. It was supposed to be directed towards kids, but then they started saying basically screw it, and then they started making scary or faces, and then making the obviously kill scenes and this and that. But it was never meant. It was originally never meant to be a scary movie like this, and the filmmakers or production would be Trimark. And is Trimark even around anymore?
I have no idea.
I believe Lionsgate Films bought them out. Hence the lion in the Trimark symbol.
Yeah, well, one falls out, another one rises.
You imagine they made a lot of money. They must have made some money.
Yes, tens of dollars.
Tons of dollars off of the Leprechaun franchise. It's kind of amazing that it actually lasted till 2008 even, I think, because I'm pretty sure Back to the Hood was made in the later 2000s, which is surprising that they brought it back.
Yeah, Leprechaun Back to the Hood, everyone gets a sandwich for showing up.
It's Trimark's cash cow is Leprechaun series. The first movie, the budget for that was actually quite a lot. It was $900,000 to make the first fucking movie. Can you believe that?
That's not a lot when you're considering making a movie.
$900,000, and the box office blew my mind. Actually, it made $8,556,000
It was very different, and so of course it would spike in interest.
So I guess there's a lot of people liking this, liking the Leprechaun.
Not Jennifer Aniston.
Not Jennifer Aniston. Oh no, she does not want nothing to do with this movie. They should bring her back. She's not doing much now. Just come on, Jen, just do another movie.
They couldn't pay her enough to be in this.
The second movie, whose budget was $2 million, and funny thing is that it grossed only $260,000 more than the first one. It was
$260,000.
$2.2 million was the gross. It made the budget was $2 million, made 2.2, so they didn't make much off the second one. The third one budget was $1.2 million, but they never. I couldn't find on the internet how much it made. Probably because it went straight to DVD and went straight to hell. And the fourth one was $1.6 million as well, and same thing. Couldn't find what it was, or as far as the gross was.
That's the sad thing about franchise movies, though, is they tend to dry up and drop off.
They did get 0% ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, though. The third and fourth movie did.
Even they didn't want to see
0% rating on Leprechaun 3 and 4. So anyway, the first one... Oh, so there's a couple flaws. Well, I wouldn't exactly call them flaws, but... Would you... Is Leprechaun the same character? He's the same actor, same dress-up and costume. But is it the same character throughout the franchise, or is it actually a different Leprechaun?
Now,
That just happen to be all Leprechauns look the same
but actually, in part 4,
in this universe.
in part 4, where they show him getting blown up, he just comes right back like nothing ever happened.
Yeah, yeah. How did he come back?
It's like cartoon death. Oh, don't worry. So and so never lost his job. Everything is back to normal next week when you see the cartoon. So, even during the same movie, people that would wake up at that particular scene in part 4, wow, like nothing ever happened.
It's like almost like a sitcom where nothing happened before. Like I know Seinfeld does it. I think even what's that movie or show?
They all do it.
Well, yeah, like something happens in one week, and then the next week, we
Yeah.
don't talk about what happened last week. Just kind of so he's a different, or no, he's the same character, just different scenarios.
Right.
Okay. Which kind of doesn't make sense.
No, because he jumps around from time to time, and so many years in between, and they'd never really explain.
They never do.
The time frames.
They did in Back to the Hood, though, or Back in the Hood.
Yeah.
Or to the Leprechaun in the Hood.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah, they brought the first clip from the first movie to that film at the beginning, and kind of said, well, he was frozen in time as a statue. The reason why I brought that up, though, is because he has different weaknesses in damn near every movie. Except for, of course, in the Hood, because it goes back to the first one, which is revamping the franchise.
Oh, definitely one of the weaknesses was not bad writing, because it just kept coming back for more.
Oh, my goodness. You didn't like the writing in the movies?
No, I did not.
So in the first one, he was obviously had a weakness towards a shoe. He had a shoe fetish, which distracted him.
Yeah, I had a weakness for Jennifer Aniston. She was really quite attractive in that movie.
Yeah, she was cute. She kind of reminded me of watching this. Reminded me of Cameron Diaz in The Mask before Hollywood took over her, because Cameron Diaz was really cute in The Mask. I don't know if you've ever seen that movie with Jim Carrey.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Yeah, you didn't like that movie?
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but there's nothing wrong with a girl that eats a burger from time to time. That's perfectly fine.
I don't know if it's face work or just the stress of Hollywood itself or whatever, but something takes a toll on these women. Because, Jen looked cute back in the day. Cameron Diaz looked cute back in the day. Hollywood warped their minds. How do you like that?
And ruin their bodies.
You know who else was in this movie? Was he was in Pee Wee Herman. He played Ozzy in Leprechaun 1. He was Francis. I don't know if you've seen Pee Wee Herman before, right?
Yes.
The Big Adventure or whatever it was. Yeah, Francis. Yeah, he was in this movie too. He played he's actually a pretty good actor, because he played a mean, bully, spoiled kid in Pee Wee. And then Leprechaun, he's some
Mentally challenged.
Yeah, he's a
painter's assistant.
Yeah, he's a half a retard in this one. But he was also
John Wayne Gacy.
So he's pretty what's the word I'm looking for? Versatile.
Yes.
Which is underrated actor. They buy this house, a remodeled house in the first one, and sure enough, Leprechaun's just sitting in the crate waiting for him.
Oh, the guy or the father brings the daughter to the house, and it's as if they have never been in there before. I don't know.
Yeah, I thought about that too. It's like, wouldn't you go through that house, with a fine-tooth comb almost before you start moving in or remodeling?
Well, no, there's already food in there.
Yeah.
There's probably vermin in there. There's garbage in there. The cobwebs stretch from wall to wall.
And he was alive in the crate the whole time. Yeah, so I don't know exactly how much time has passed through there. But it would really suck to be stuck in a crate for that period of time, because he was alive the whole time.
What exactly would he be doing the entire time?
Yeah, twiddling his thumbs.
Yeah, shining his own shoes.
Shining his shoes, thinking about revenge. That's another thing about these movies. It's all about revenge. Revenge, and greed.
Oh, of course.
So he had the shoe fetish. He's partial, or the way they stopped him in the first movie was, well, explain how he gets killed in the first movie.
Well, they the little boy takes a chewing gum and a 4-leaf clover, which was, of course, brightly illuminated, and we know it's clover from the green light in the tree. And, doesn't matter, they no CGI, no other special effects, just a nice green light in the tree. And an interesting side note, when what's the painter's assistant name?
Painter's assistant's name?
Yeah, the special ed guy.
Oh, Ozzy.
Yeah, when Ozzy's back there, he kind of pokes his head up and almost has Joker hair.
Yeah, the light seemed to be coming off the trees and pointing towards the ground, and Jennifer Aniston's character and Ozzy's character and the characters were all in this clover patch that was illuminated in this green light, which is kind of, it's a low-budget, shitty special effect, I guess.
Getting back to the original question here, the kid wrapped up the 4-leaf clover into the bubble gum and shot it down the leprechaun's throat.
Hey, what did he say to him as he died?
Or
right when he shot it, do you know what he said?
No.
There's an interesting side note to that. He said, "Fuck you, Lucky Charms," and shot the clover in his mouth. Now, earlier in that movie, there's a scene where Leprechaun's going through the cupboards looking for gold or food or whatever, and he pulls out a box of cereal, and of course you would expect it to be Lucky Charms. And it was actually Lucky Shamrocks or Clovers or something. Yeah, I think it was Lucky Clovers.
I don't think Lucky Charms wanted to have any association with this
movie.
They
did. Now, that's why I want to bring it up. They had... Lucky Charms was actually kind of... They knew that what this movie was going to be and blah, 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 blah. And they actually... The original scene was with the Lucky Charms box. Lucky Charms seen the movie... and didn't like the movie, obviously, and they decided to say, I don't want nothing to do with this film, change it or we're going to sue your ass. So they ended up changing it. Well, this was already after wrap, obviously, post-production, and so they were pissed. The company that made this movie, Trimark or whoever, they were pissed that, Lucky Charms kind of screwed them over on that. So they changed the box, and they said they had that kid actually have a different line at the end of the movie to when he shot that clover. He actually said something else before. But they changed it after Lucky Charms did that to say, fuck you, Lucky Charms, to a little side,
that's
subliminal thing to say, fuck you, Lucky Charms. Isn't that interesting?
Nice little bit of trivia there, Kevin. Good going.
Yeah, it was pretty good. I like that one. Do you think the authorities would have believed them? When they, at the end of the movie, the cops finally show up at the house. Do you think the cops would have actually took their word for it? There's no, they come in because he gets slammed down to a well, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he starts climbing back up, and then they pour gas down the damn thing, and then they set it on fire, and ba-boom, exploded Leprechaun. So the cops pull up, and there's got to be maybe some fire probably lingering in the well. Do you think they would believe them? In any of these movies, do you think the cops would have believed them at all?
No.
I think they would have... That's a beeline for the loony bin.
Yes. And actually, it's kind of interesting because when he was melting away the first time, and they kicked him down the well, he was actually more rotted before he went down the well than when he came back up.
Little production flaw there. So that's pretty much what happens in the first movie. Excuse me. The reason why Leprechaun, real quick, and we'll move on to the next. Leprechaun was going after all these guys because he's always missing that one piece of gold out of his pot of gold, and Ozzy, the half-tard, he accidentally swallowed the piece of gold, so he was basically the one who Leprechaun was after. Everybody was saving him, and not too many people died in this movie. I have a body count of 4, and the main characters all survived, though.
Yeah, there were 7 people in the movie.
Yeah, 7 people. Well, actually, no. There's 4 people here. Well, at the end, Ozzy, the kid, Jennifer, and the other guy, and somehow, some way, 4 of the people died. I can't remember exactly how they went.
Are you counting the vehicle that wouldn't start either?
Oh, there was a cop in the movie that got clipped. That's what it was. That guy was... I remember Leprechaun's magical creature. He can't even be killed with shotguns. No bullets can stop him. This guy's got endless magical power. You would think that he would be able to, with all that power, you'd think he'd be able to get his gold a little bit more efficient.
Yes, but then they wouldn't have a movie now, would they?
No, they wouldn't have a movie. So the second one starts off, the second one, he's looking for a bride. He's looking for a woman. It started off actually in the old times.
Back in Ireland.
Back in Ireland.
Back in the home.
He, who knows what kind of century that was. Oh, it was 1,000 years before the movie made. That was another thing I'll get into in a minute. It was 1,000 years before Leprechaun 2 was made. And he was after a bride because he had a slave at the time, at the beginning of the movie. And he tells the slave, you know what, if you hook me up with this girl, I will release you. And sure enough, he's like, oh yeah, what girl kind of thing. And then Leprechaun shows the guy, the slave, the girl. And the girl's actually the slave's daughter. And he's like, no, 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 kill me, kind of thing. And he ends up killing him. And then Leprechaun gets sealed away for 1,000 years. And then he was brought back on his birthday, St. Patrick's Day. So it's Leprechaun's birthday is St. Patrick's Day, which I didn't know that. So happy birthday, Leprechaun. Stole a lot. He wants to get married. Let's see. Oh, there was the hearse in that movie too. Which
yes, there was.
And Big Kev over here is a proud owner of how many hearse?
2.
2 hearse. One of them is black.
Hearse is.
I don't know if you could pluralize that really. The first hearse that you have is a
71 Olds.
What is it?
71 Oldsmobile.
71 Oldsmobile, and the other one is
a 89 Cadillac.
And what color is the Olds?
Presently, it's safety yellow.
Safety yellow.
Yes, the person that I bought it from rolled on the paint.
And what does it say on the back of the window?
It's time to put the fun back in funeral.
That's nice. But yeah, so Leprechaun 2 had a hearse in it as well. They had this like dark side tour of so now they're in Hollywood, L.A. And on the I've noticed on the hearse it said 1-800-CM-DEAD. Did you notice that?
No, I did not.
Ah.
I was just looking at the car.
I remember one of the scenes in that movie. The hearse was driving around doing the tour or whatever, and there was they stopped at a murder house, and an old black lady came outside. She started dumping water on the hearse. That was kind of maybe it was holy water
at Bela Lugosi's house.
Yeah. So he got to Hollywood by tree. Did you know that?
Yes,
he traveled by tree on that one.
Yeah, gift to Harry Houdini from the people of Killarney or something.
Yeah, and isn't that interesting? I thought that was pretty cool.
Yeah,
the tree donated from the people of Killarney, Ireland, to Harry Houdini. Yep.
Yes, and all that was left was the staircase and a piece of fence and the tree. Victoria Jackson was actually one of the Victoria Jackson from Saturday Night Live. She was one of the.
Yeah. There was a couple. There was.
She was on the tour.
Yeah, she was on the tour. She was one of the.
Also with Ron Howard's little brother.
Is that Ron Howard's little brother?
Yeah, Clint Howard.
I could not think of his name. I've seen him I think I've even seen him in horror movies before.
Yes, he was the ice cream man.
Ah, here we go. See. Oh, did you also notice that from Mad TV? There's a Mad TV character in there too.
He
plays Stuart. His name is Michael James McDonald. He was the bartender in that one scene. He gets killed.
Yeah, he gets steamed to death.
Yep, steamed. Yep, steamed Bath Stewart. That's what I called him.
Look what I can do.
Yeah, look what I can do. Let's see one of the other cool, interesting kill scenes I thought was interesting in that movie. The plot line sucked. Okay, let's just put it out there.
Yes, we will agree to agree that it's horrible.
Yeah, the plotline sucked. Basically, Leprechaun is trying to get married to this chick. 1,000 years later, one of her descendants is in L.A. Go figure, he's in L.A. It's like...
Incidentally, played 1,000 years later by the same actress.
It's like sleeping in Seattle. So they're at the same place at the same time 1,000 years later, coincidentally, and he's after the girl, and the girl's involved with some boy, and he's trying to save her, and of course he wants to make money, and he steals Leprechaun's gold, and ensues the chase, if you will. All these movies are walking chase scenes or running chase scenes throughout these whole movies. It's running to get the gold. It's Olympics. I like that better. You can compare these movies to the Olympics.
Yes, compare these movies to the Olympics. Why? Why? Why?
Leprechauns can't sell for silver or the bronze, or even copper. He's got to go for the gold.
Why?
One of the scenes, kill scenes in the movie, they're out in the garage, and I can't remember what character exactly it was, but Leprechaun can disguise himself or create almost like holograms, if you will, or manifestations of people, and there was this fine-looking woman in the garage. Actually, it was the actress, the main character, but she was not really there. You know what I mean? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it was an illusion of her.
Right, there you go. An illusion of the main character. And this kid goes up to her, and, she takes her top off, which is nice.
Played by some stunt boobs.
You think so?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
How can you tell a stunt boob? This is going to go a whole nother conversation, but I'm going to go there. How can you tell a stunt boob from a real boob?
Because the stunt boobs seemed
they're not CGI.
They were a little bit larger, it seemed, than the actress that was playing.
So would you say that you studied those boobs pretty well to make that...
Yes, the pause button was used at that time.
Pause, slow, rewind, pause, slow, rewind.
Sorry, but there's a hole burned through the disc at that point.
The interesting thing, though, there's a kill scene involved with this. I'm getting there. So she takes off her top, and he goes and starts kissing on her, and he starts moving down south towards her boobs. And he doesn't know it because it's the illusion, but they're actually the boobs turned into lawnmower blades. He didn't hear the lawnmower going off or nothing like that, but he basically ended up he's looking for some action and ends up kissing lawnmower blades. Which
that are spinning, and they're not your average lawnmower blades. They have nice big teeth on them, and it's a nice big old hoopty-double mower, so...
That Leprechaun's quite deceptive, isn't he?
Yes,
that guy was
is.
just looking for a little action, and
Yep.
Leprechaun just had to screw him over.
Yep.
And the weakness in Leprechaun 2 was rod iron. I don't think it was any particular iron. Well, actually it was. It just any piece of iron, contained him or hurt him or whatever. There's a scene also in that movie where they end up at this go-kart place, and Leprechaun goes barging into the door and into a safe, and he's stuck in there. And the cool thing about it was you're like, oh wow, they actually kind of got him. And he was stuck in there. He every single time he touched the walls or whatever, he got like electric shock almost. But of course, taken by greed, the one character, Morty, the drunk in that movie, the Irish drunk guy, he was also a character in, he played, he played a neighbor of Seinfeld's mom and dad in San Boca Vista. He was one of the shiesty characters. God, that's going to kill me.
All good to know.
Well, it's kind of funny. A lot of things go... Everybody's been in Seinfeld. I will always live by that. Every frickin' actor's damn near been in Seinfeld. But anyway, so Greed takes over Morty's character, and he cuts a deal with the Leprechaun. And you can't... It's like making a deal with the devil. If you watch any of these movies, if you make a deal with the bad guy in the movie, you're going to get clipped. That's... like common sense, almost.
Yeah, well, let's be careful what you wish for, because you just may get it.
Oh, I like that.
Quite literally, too.
In a Leprechaun franchise, be careful what you wish for, because you get 3 wishes.
Yeah.
And every single time that the wishes were made, someone got clipped. So Morty made the deal with the Leprechaun, and says, I'll let you out if you give me your pot of gold. And... he's like, sure. Leprechaun's like, sure, get me the hell out of here. So they let him open up the door, and he's like, all right, where's my gold? And next thing you know, Morty's stomach starts filling up, and the pot of gold ended up being in his stomach, and his stomach split open, and he was gone.
Too many Lucky Charms.
Too many Lucky Charms. I like that. But I remember that movie, seeing that movie as a kid, and I always remembered that scene. For some reason, that scene stuck with me for the oddest reason. I don't know if it was because it freaked me out. Kind of like... I don't want to go too far out the other way, but certain kill scenes stick with me, period. But I remember certain things like when I was a kid watching Nightmare on Elm Street, because he had all sorts of intricate kill scenes in those movies, and Leprechaun does as well. So that pretty much wraps up on Leprechaun 2. There's a gold neck collar here and there for slavery. There's all sorts of slavery going on.
Yeah, he's got his little...
He had a maze in that tree. And that was interesting too, is that he had every single weakness he had buried in that tree. That's where that girl ended up getting that ice pick or whatever it was, or wrought iron ice pick or something like that, and ended up sticking him with it. But in the end, he's killed by a wrought iron through the heart. He was outsmarted. He's always outsmarted too. I don't know if you noticed that as well in these.
Well, that's a nod back to that story of the devil of Daniel Webster.
What's that?
Well, basically, Daniel Webster was a lawyer, and he outsmarted the devil. He made a deal to sell a soul, sold the soul, and then wanted it back in court or some kind of thing like that. I've heard of the story, never read the story.
Going back to all these different intricate kill scenes. I mean, there's death by pogo sticks. There's death by pot of gold. I call it the pot belly pot of gold. There's the steam bath with Stewart. And then going into the third one, we'll move on to that.
Oh Christ!
Yeah, this was. Let's start from the beginning there. Leprechaun is now in Las Vegas, Sin City. And if anybody, this movie had a lot going on in it underneath the rug, it sucked. It was terrible. This was the movie that we fell asleep to. We caught up on some sleep with this movie.
Not together, of course.
Oh, of course not. In the back of one of your hearses, that's what it was. He started off as a stone statue. So this one, it's not by tree. He's not in a crate. He's now a statue, and he had an amulet that
was made out of a go-go's dancer's belt.
How could you tell it was a belt? That's what I was going to ask you.
There was a rectangular part which the chain was clasped to, and if you turn that sideways, that's a belt.
That's a pretty good eye, man. Well, then again, I picked out the 1-800 See 'Em Dead.
Yeah, so...
You always gotta look out for those license plates. I get bitched at sometimes when I watch movies and I'll point out things. I'm like, why do you watch movies and see these things? It's like, you gotta look outside the box almost. There's always little fun little things in movies that people don't always pick up on.
Yeah, it's because we're dorks.
Yeah, and that we're dorks and making crazy podcasts. So, okay, he's confined to a statue by an amulet or a belt buckle.
Brought into the pawn shop, incidentally, by a guy named Lucky.
Now, here's the other cool thing is, too, because we have... It's a pawn shop in Vegas, and, of course, there's a TV show nowadays called...
Pawn Stars.
Pawn Stars, which takes place in Vegas. Go figure.
Yes, but the...
I guess their pawn shops are pretty... I've never been to Vegas.
Well, just try to imagine that, though. You know, you're in a place where just money flows.
And you try to offload every single piece of gold to pay back your bookies.
Yeah. You know, always trying to hit it big. If you're on a losing streak, you want to get it back. And
man, those pawn shops are like, I don't know, almost like drug dealers in a way.
Oh, yeah.
Here, sell me your gold, and I'll give you some more money, and just go spend that up, too.
Oh, of course. It facilitates a lot of drug use.
Well, like if you ever watched Pawn Stars, I just seen the other day they were having Truckosaurus. They were trying to sell Truckosaurus for $1 million. It's like, oh, my goodness. Anyway, so... Actually, with this movie, with all the underlying things involved with it, Leprechaun 3 being in Vegas, Sin City, there's a lot of sinning in this movie. And I don't think a lot of people even picked up on that, or if they even try to watch this movie. I don't suggest this movie at all.
Unless you're an insomniac.
Unless you're an insomniac and you're looking for sleep, this is the movie to go to. We see sloth, we see greed, we see gluttony, we see lust, we see wrath, we see envy, we see pride, we see all 7 deadly sins in this movie.
Oh, you did stay awake.
Yeah.
At least once.
At least once. Well, like I said, I had to watch it twice.
3 times for me.
Oh my God, really? 3 times?
Couldn't stay awake.
Oh my goodness. And you've watched it in the morning too, didn't you?
And I had a pot of coffee in me at the time and a Coca-Cola on the side.
Goodness.
And I still couldn't stay awake. It's like playing Brahms' Lullaby.
So with a lot of horror movies, you would say there's not much sin in horror movies. Period. Well, I mean, there's only like two. There's always two sins. I would always go to the lust and the wrath, because a lot of horror movies in history, there's always some chick trying to get it on with some dude, or vice versa, whatever, and there's always some wrath, with some serial killer killing those people for, sinning, I guess. There's not too much else, in horror movies. Would you agree?
Yes, punish the sins.
Now, with Leprechaun being what it is, it actually puts in an extra sin. It gives you greed, which I thought was kind of interesting too. I give credit for that. It's like, that's kind of cool if you look at it that way. It's got 3 sins as opposed to 2. A little extra edge.
Oh yes, the more sinning, the better.
Oh yeah.
Another good movie, 7 Deadly Sins.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so there's the medallion, and then there's in Leprechaun 3, there's also a magical thing that happens where another leprechaun is spawned. There's 2 leprechauns fighting each other. And can you explain? Do you remember, or do you want me to take care of this?
Yes, at the pawn shop, the pawn shop owner had the world's oldest computer where he slipped the entire CD-ROM into the computer. And, of course, queued it right up to Leprechaun.
Did you say that was Windows 3.1?
I'd say that was Windows...
DOS?
old wooden pane style Windows.
Was it a Mac or Windows?
I have no idea. I think it might have said Texas Instruments on there for all I know.
Oh, yeah, you never know.
International business machines.
Yeah, it was the CD-ROM was basically, which we'll go touch on again, which is Leprechaun for Dummies.
Yeah, Steve Jobs built that computer. That was his first one that he built in his crib.
Yeah. So how was there another Leprechaun made in that other part 3?
Well, when the hero was bitten on the arm, what was that? Somehow or another, the leprechaun got cut, or
he bit him. Oh yeah, the medallion cut him.
Okay, so
he shoved the medallion in the hero shoved the medallion in Leprechaun's mouth, and the Leprechaun's mouth was kind of bloody from that, like foaming green, and then he bit the hero, and the hero ended up becoming basically a clone or a brother of Leprechaun. So you're kind of dealing with 2.
Yeah, that was.
They were reaching.
Well, kind of like a zombie thing, bite gives you the infection, so.
Yeah. So there's the other parts in this movie. There was they were in the. That was cool too. The casino. There's a boom mic mess up. Did you?
Yeah.
I told you about the boom mic.
Yeah,
Did you see the boom mic?
I caught it. It was very Dolomite-esque.
That was kind of funny. Leprechaun was on the streets of Vegas, and that was a cool thing too. Is that Vegas is so used to seeing freaks and weirdos on the street that seeing a leprechaun on the street didn't seem to bother anybody. So he stops in front of a crosswalk or streets or whatever, and he stops in front of the Golden Nugget and makes a comment like, "Oh, I'd like me a golden nugget. I want my golden shillelaghs," or whatever the hell it was, or shillings. And next thing you know, drop boom mic, which was kind of funny. The casino that they go to, you described it best.
That's the world's worst casino ever.
You walked in, it was dim lighting. Or no, before you even walked in, the outside of the building was all dark. It was no flashy casino. The name of the casino was the Lucky Shamrock, too. Let's add that in real quick.
And no lights, no big sign, just a little marquee, which would look better over a restaurant than it would a casino. The only place, I guess, ever designed to lose money, or to not attract people.
Yeah, it was not a very attractive place. The inside looked like,
stock footage casino from other more larger places.
Yeah, it's like the leftovers from every other casino.
Yeah, the outside looked like a Days Inn.
It looked. Oh, how'd you put it? It looked like a VFW casino night. That's what it was. So there's a couple of interesting characters in the movie. As far as the people, well, pretty much the people that get killed, they all die basically with their sins. That's why I pointed it this way. So like one person gets strangled with a phone cord. Though the
Pawn shop owner.
the pawn shop owner gets
Pawnbroker.
Yeah, the pawnbroker gets strangled by a phone cord. There's the lust. There's the casino owner who owes money to loan sharks or whoever those two brutal guys are.
The world's worst mobsters.
Yeah, they were pretty bad, weren't they?
Yeah.
They were kind of playing good cop, bad cop almost, or no, it was more like
Good cop, retarded cop.
yeah, the guy was like supposed to be like this hulking bodyguard, if you will. He was the fist,
Muscle?
the muscle. There you go. For the loan shark, but the casino owner is after the girl. There's a young girl and there's the young guy. That's always pretty much standard with these movies. The one boy is protecting the half leprechaun boy hero is protecting the girl, and he's trying to make money. He spends his college tuition at the casino, which was I think $27,000 of some sort.
Yeah, 20 something, but that's pretty much how Vegas was made, though.
Yeah, it's pretty sad though. 'Cause the guy, he's underage and he gets slipped into the casino by that girl because she works at the casino as a magician's assistant, and she says, "Well, don't gamble. You can go check out the casino, but don't gamble." Sure enough, he sees all the glamour and
sees people winning.
Yeah, so he goes and
bug.
cashes in his check and he spends it all and basically bets it all on black kind of thing. He hits the roulette table and the woman's, of course, it's a crooked casino, and she hits the button and the marble lands on everything but his number and takes him for everything he's got. And of course he returns to the pawnbroker and tries to sell more stuff and blah blah blah. That's how how he became the leprechaun.
Found him dead, found his gold coin, made a wish, wound up back at the casino and started on a winning streak.
So the casino boss is after the
magician's assistant.
Magician's assistant, the girl, and he's hitting on her and this and that. And sure enough, later on in the movie, she gets kind of hypnotized by the leprechaun. And
well, when he made the wish after he got the gold coin.
Oh, that's right. There was wishes in this movie. There wasn't wishes in the other franchise or any of the other movies. It was just this movie that you can get wishes out of the leprechaun.
Yeah, I think they read only so far into the
the folklore.
Yeah.
So the first one they knew about the shoe fetish and the 4-leaf clover. The second one, the wrought iron, is nowhere in the history. I have never seen anything about him being partial to wrought or iron, but they only touched on maybe the St. Patrick's Day. I don't think there was any fact in the second one at all, now I think about it.
They're grasping at straws like I am.
So then the third one, it's all about the sin and then the 3 wishes. And the amulet, of course, was nowhere in the history of Leprechaun, or Leprechaun history in real life.
Right.
So anyway, he goes upstairs with the chick, and then she snaps out of it because the hero ended up getting the gold or something like that, wasn't it?
No, the lady that was running the roulette wheel came up and grabbed the coin out of the pocket.
Yeah, that's right. She steals. Yeah, so there's thievery involved. Right?
Yeah, so apparently you have to have the gold coin to keep your wish.
There's envy. The shady roulette dealer or game. I don't know, what would you call her?
I have no idea.
The old lady was envious of the casino boss's love affair for the or Fazio's love affair. Or no, was it? It was the casino boss's love affair for the girl. She was envious of the casino boss's gold coin.
Yeah, she was hot at one time, but now she's
old and saggy.
Yeah, and she makes a wish to be attractive again, and for some reason winds up with Susan Powder hair. Yeah,
I'll get to that in a second. So the casino boss, the girl snaps out of it, and she walks out of the room. And some illusion that Leprechaun conjures up goes and starts messing with the casino boss sexually, of course, and of course more boobs come out. And come to find out, it was just some big robot on top of him, made out of the TV, I think it was, or something.
Yes, because everyone knows that TVs
can turn into sex robots.
Big tits in them.
Yeah, they turn into sex robots with fake prosthetic tits on them.
Yeah, and sadly, of course, we don't get to see the magician's assistant's rack.
No.
But, she's quite attractive.
She was. I would say so. It's always a blonde. It's always a blonde. Anyway, so the guy, casino boss, gets Robo-Tit electrocuted. He got electrocuted that way. So then we got the old lady, taking the coin, and now she's, in the mirror. I wish to be beautiful. So of course, her boobs perk back up, her ass gets a little lifted again, her lips get better. It's basically plastic surgery, and then plastic surgery gone wrong. It looks like she ends up getting huge collagen injections. Her lips puff up. Her boobs get humongous.
Bad case of duck face there.
She's got all sorts of ass and titties, and she ends up exploding. Which I thought was funny.
Well, that was, of course, after the Leprechaun ran back into her, and he did that.
Yeah, well, yeah. Leprechaun finds her and then basically makes an extreme out of her. And then I think Fazio, the magician, the shitty magician, gets the coin too as well, right?
Yes, and he wanted to be the world's best magician.
Yeah, world's best magician, and then he goes to do one of those saw tricks or some sort or whatever.
Yeah. No, I think Leprechaun put him in that place.
Well, you know about it than I do, because I don't remember that one.
Yeah, he was in the... he wound up in the box where, sawing the person in half kind of deal. And somehow Leprechaun manages to cut him in half with a electric chainsaw with no chain on there.
Yeah.
So, yeah, God bless movie magic. It doesn't exist.
So yeah, Fazio gets cut in half. And then there's another scene in the movie where my gluttony comes in, where the second leprechaun, the hero leprechaun, was eating a lot of potatoes. There's my gluttony. The sloth can be that half-tard guy. So it's pretty much all there. Pride, I mean, you could put pride anywhere, pretty much. Leprechaun's pride.
You can't put pride in this movie.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, there's no pride in this movie. And we leave that with how'd he die? You probably explain a little better than I do, but I just have, they burned the pot of gold and they end up...
Yeah,
somehow, some way, he's connected to the pot of gold and...
Yeah, the pot of gold is his power, and Fazio, one of the tricks that he wanted to do was make the girl disappear in the box, but set the box on fire after she's in it. And, of course, he was shot down for this, because, they're at the Days Inn Casino. And,
Days Inn Casino.
But he still had the prop on stage, and for some reason they thought that they could destroy the pot of gold with a propane fired blowtorch. So it worked for them. I thought basically if you apply heat to gold it would melt.
Smelting.
Yes. So it should have been just one big blob of gold in a cast iron pot. Right. Because the gold will melt before the cast iron. The cast iron might get cherry red, but it ain't going nowhere, Right. That's a hole you could drive a semi-truck through.
So you would say that you are pretty knowledgeable about your metallurgy.
Mineralogy? 5 years working metal, so...
Yeah. Alright, so that concludes the Leprechaun 3. So, now comes another great gem, which was Leprechaun 4.
Well, I hope you enjoyed part 1 of the Horror Shop's holiday special. Part 2 gets funnier and I play a little game with Big Kev. Happy haunting!